Welcome to today's video on the 5 components of fitness, and to me this is a good starting point for anybody who is really interested in becoming in better shape, just not externally but specifically internally. The importance of today's video is if you understand each component of fitness, then you have ways to measure your overall fitness level and you can pinpoint your strengths in the areas that you need to work on. I'm going to give you an example of just, let's say this individual here is a runner. So they're working in one of the 5 components of fitness, which would be cardiorespiratory endurance. And from the outside, we look at this individual and we think, oh, they're in great shape. But that's not always the case. We really should be taking care of all of the 5 components, just not one. This individual may be, over time, they don't stretch, so they're not working on their flexibility, and they can be lacking mobility and full range of motion. And as they get older, they start to have lots of injuries. Again, we looked before, they look like they're in good shape, but because they were lacking working on the component of flexibility over time, that actually catches up and causes problems. Another example is if, again, their main source of fitness and exercise is running. As they get older, maybe they never took care of their muscle mass through muscle strength activities and muscle endurance activities. And there's a lot of research that shows that once adults, men and women, come to the age of 35 or older, they start to lose 1 to 2% of their muscle mass. And muscle mass is tied to metabolism and a lot of positive things by keeping your muscle mass. So again, just an example from external wise, just looking at the outside, we say, oh, this person's in good shape, but that's not always the case if they're only working one of the 5 components of fitness. So what I'm hoping that you understand is that the 5 components of fitness and measuring our fitness levels in each of these components is very important, very, very important. It helps us actually have an overall umbrella of total wellness when it comes down to being fit. So here's the 5 components of fitness, which is cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and body composition. So we're going to go over each one of these. The first one we're going to be talking about is cardiorespiratory endurance, and it's the heart and lungs working together to supply oxygen to the working muscles. And for the fitness gram test, what we do is the 1 mile run. Notice that I highlighted heart and lungs. This is when you're thinking cardiorespiratory endurance, I want you to be thinking heart and lungs. That's what you're working out when you're doing your runs, your swims, your bike rides. And the next component of fitness, we have muscular strength, which is a measure of the greatest force that can be produced by a muscle or group of muscles. The greatest force is what I highlighted, but we're looking at exercises that we can only do a few times, and that's why in the fitness gram they've chosen the push-up. It also could have been the pull-up, and we can only do this a few times, maybe 5 times, maybe up to 30 or 40 times, but it is it's maximal force, and that's something that I want you to understand. When you think of muscular strength activities, we're doing exercises that we can only do a few times. Ideally, if you're working out, it should be between, I would say, 8 reps all the way up to 15 reps. When we look at muscular endurance, it's a measurement of submaximal force that can be produced by a muscle or group of muscles repeatedly without incurring fatigue. In the fitness gram test, we do the curl up, which is similar to a crunch. So we're looking at exercises that we can do over and over and over again for multiple times, a lot of times, before we get to the point of fatigue. So instead of the push-up, maybe you can do 15 push-ups for 2 sets. For the curl-up, you may be able to do 30, 40, 50 or more. So that's the difference between muscular strength and muscular endurance. The next component we're going to be discussing is flexibility, which is the ability of the joint to move freely in every direction, or more specifically through a full and normal range of motion. And the key point here is that your joint can go through a full range of motion. Very, very important. In the fitness gram test, we use a sit and reach to see the flexibility of our lower body, which is our legs, specifically the bicep femoris, which is our hamstrings. The last component we're going to be talking about is body composition, which is the quality or makeup of our total body mass, which is composed of lean body mass and fat mass. And how we do it for the fitness gram is we take your BMI, which is the body mass index. We take your height and we take your weight. To see improvement in the body mass index, in overall body composition, you would actually be working on all 5 of these components: cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and I would also add in here nutrition. Nutrition has a huge impact on one's body composition. If you would like to learn more about the 5 components of fitness and other principles of exercise, you can join us at www.underwoodpeblog.wix.com/reachbetterhealth. Have a great day.